Earlier this year, leading scientists and researchers gathered together in Memphis, Tennessee to discuss some exciting new developments in health and nutrition. Dr. Mark Houston from Vanderbilt University, Dr. Lovell Jones from the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Dr. Samir Saman from the University of Sydney, and Dr. Gerald Tulser from the University of Vienna, Dr. Jennifer Hu from Wake Forest University, Dr. Lauren Cordain from Colorado State University, Dr. Ronald Watson from the University of Arizona. These and other distinguished scientists and researchers from around the world came to share what they've learned about whole food nutrition from fruits and vegetables, and about whole food-based nutrition from a remarkable new supplement called Juice Plus. Among those attending was Dr. Richard Dubois, one of the world's leading authorities on infectious diseases. Dr. Dubois is past president of the Georgia Society of Internal Medicine, past president of the Infectious Disease Society of Georgia and of the Medical Association of Atlanta, and is currently serving his fourth consecutive term as Chief of Internal Medicine at Atlanta Medical Center. Dr. Dubois was one of the first doctors in North America to study and catalog the growing body of research on how the nutrition found in fruits and vegetables contributes to the fight against infectious diseases and degenerative diseases like heart disease, stroke, and cancer. As a result, he's been recommending Juice Plus to both patients and colleagues for years. He's also been a tireless leader in bringing the mounting scientific evidence supporting Juice Plus to the forefront of public attention. Please listen for the next few minutes as Dr. Richard Dubois shares what he has learned from research conducted at leading hospitals and universities all over the world about the science of Juice Plus.
I'm honored to be on the stage with such distinguished scientists, and the research that we are talking about is the research of the most thoroughly researched nutraceutical in the history of the world. And what the research shows is that Juice Plus is what it is. It is bioavailable nutrition from whole food sources. Now, we don't claim that we treat or that we prevent any specific disease, but the research is conclusive. What we do is affect those aspects of human physiology that are clearly associated with human disease. And that's why we have researchers from prestigious institutions all over the world involved with Juice Plus research. Even the National Institutes of Health. The foundation of health and disease prevention is in the micronutrients of fresh fruits and vegetables. There are thousands and thousands of them, and they all work together synergistically to prevent disease. Mother Nature's vitamins are indeed better than man-made vitamins. Let me give you a few examples. Blindness from macular degeneration cannot be prevented with vitamins A, C, and E, but clearly green leafy vegetables will prevent 43% or more of that disease. There are multiple studies involving as many as 100,000 patients, and some of them lasting for 20 years, showing that every serving of a fruit or a vegetable per day actually reduces the risk of stroke by 6 or 7%. So the same researchers, Harvard Medical School, looked at over 40,000 people, and they wondered whether man-made vitamins C and E could prevent stroke, and the answer is no, they cannot. How about coronary heart disease? The federal government's Health and Nutritional Survey, looking at over 9,000 people for close to 20 years, and it's a clear indication that the more fruits and vegetables consumed per day, the less the incidence of death from heart disease, and for that matter, the less the incidence of death from any cause whatsoever. And yet multiple studies show no benefit from taking man-made vitamins in the prevention of heart disease. The Archives of Internal Medicine, looking at 83,000 doctors in the United States. They looked at whether they took vitamin C, vitamin E, and or multivitamins, and there was no benefit in the prevention of death from coronary disease. How about infections? That's what I do. I treat people with infections. Elderly people are known to be more susceptible to infections, so they said, what if we give elderly people vitamin E or multivitamins and compare that with placebo and see if we can prevent infections? And the answer is no, they cannot prevent infections by taking those multivitamins. In fact, the patients who were taking the vitamin E had more serious infections and more complications from the infections than the people taking the placebo. How about Alzheimer's disease? 40 new cases of Alzheimer's per hour in the United States, and it's expected to double by the year 2010. So in the August issue of the Journal of the American Medical Association, multi-year studies from 2 separate independent researchers were submitted. And vitamin E from nature's vitamin E, from dietary sources, in one study reduced the incidence of Alzheimer's by 35%, and in the next study reduced it by 70%. And in neither study did man-made vitamin C or E reduce the incidence of Alzheimer's disease. And the reason for these discrepancies is the balance of Mother Nature. You see, Mother Nature has all of the checks and balances and synergy from the thousands of micronutrients. Mother Nature's secret is not how much of any nutrient is in the fruits and vegetables, it's that there's a little of everything in the fruits and vegetables, and that's the secret of nutrition. And it's also the secret of Juice Plus. We've known for years that juicing makes the micronutrients more bioavailable because the juicing frees the micronutrients up from the cellulose and hemicellulose. But the problem with the juice is that sugar without the cellulose has a high glycemic index and surges into the system, but Juice Plus has that sugar removed. And the result is the bioavailability of micronutrients initiated with Dr. John Wise' study, but now substantiated on 3 continents and enlarged to include more and more phytonutrients that are bioavailable, and they are bioavailable at those levels that get into your bloodstream associated with disease prevention. And that's important because we have to maintain 98.6 degrees, which means we have to burn fat and sugar. That burning is called oxidation, but it has a price. The price is free radicals, which are sparks that bombard your system. Billions and billions of free radicals every day attacking your system and doing damage. The New England Journal of Medicine said it best: normal metabolism generates free radicals that damage the molecules. The bottom line is aging, disease, and death. So it's the antioxidants that neutralize those free radicals. But there's only 2 variables. What's the level of your metabolism, and what's the integrity of your antioxidant cascade? And those antioxidants get used up, so you have to keep replenishing them, and you can't make them yourself. You have to eat them from fruits and vegetables. So if you don't, you end up with a thing called oxidative stress. And here's a list of conditions for which there's overwhelming evidence that it's caused by oxidative stress, or at least aggravated by oxidative stress once it's established. And of course, stroke, cancer, and heart attack are right at the top of the list. All-cause mortality, death from any cause. This is the list of diseases that we're talking about. So oxidative stress is bad, so why not neutralize it? Journal of the American Medical Association looked at 5 separate doses of vitamin E, all the way up to 2,000 units per day. And the evidence was clear: there was no reduction in lipid peroxide. There is no dose of vitamin E that you can take that will reduce oxidative stress in your body. Now, Juice Plus has been studied over a period of 28 days, and it's very clear that Juice Plus reduced lipid peroxides by 75%, and in 1/3 of the subjects, the lipid peroxides were undetectable, which meant the oxidative stress had been neutralized, something no dose of vitamin E can do. And what does that translate to in our bodies? We don't have a bunch of water pipes that our blood flows through. Our blood vessels are very active organs, and they're very subjected to oxidative stress. And that's where the cholesterol plaques form. And they're not normal cholesterol plaques. They are oxidized cholesterol that are present in those plaques. The blood vessels have to contract and expand to direct the blood to our brain when we're thinking and our muscles when we're exercising. They have to be reactive. And Dr. Plotnick has done research and shown that a high-fat meal actually impairs our circulation for 4 to 6 hours. And he also showed in the research that Juice Plus reduces that impairment by 62%, essentially reverses the damage to our circulation. Now, that doesn't mean we should go out and eat high-fat meals, but it does mean Juice Plus protects our circulation. Another toxic and dangerous material in our blood is homocysteine. It's an amino acid, so it has to be there, but it causes oxidation and damage to all parts of our system. You want the homocysteine as low as you can get it. Homocysteine is an independent marker of the integrity of your nutrition, and it is an independent marker of your probability of death from any cause. Samir Saman from Australia has done the research and showed clearly that Juice Plus significantly lowers homocysteine. If you significantly lower homocysteine, you significantly lower your risk of death from any cause whatsoever. You've got enough DNA in your finger to reach 93 million miles to the sun. It's very important, and we have to protect it. It's subjected to oxidative damage and free radical damage millions and billions of times per day. And DNA damage leads to aging, and it leads to cancer, and it leads to a thing called mitochondrial toxicity. And when your mitochondria are damaged, they are the organelles that produce energy in your body. So when you're not making energy properly, nothing in your life or your body is functioning properly. Again, Juice Plus has been looked at to see what it can do to protect DNA damage. Investigators from Brigham Young University, University of Arizona, looked specifically at elderly Americans and smokers and non-smokers and found that Juice Plus reduced the DNA damage by 66%. Now, how does that translate? Every cell of your body, and you have trillions of cells, takes 10,000 free radical hits per day. And think about reducing that by 66%, day in and day out, day after day, until after a year, you get that much less DNA damage. And I can't say that number, but it's got 5 commas in it. Now think if large populations of the world could go year after year after year, subjecting themselves to that much less mutation and DNA damage on a regular basis. Again, I deal with infectious disease, and we all know infections and the immune system are closely related, but the immune system is also active for monitoring our cells for cancer. Natural killer cells patrol our bloodstream looking for new viruses and new germs to attack them, looking for newly developed cancer cells to kill them before they develop into full-blown malignancies. And Juice Plus has been looked at to see what it can do for our immune systems. Highly sophisticated measures, including natural killer cell assays, were looked at, and every parameter was enhanced by taking Juice Plus, and this was in senior citizens. And how about our children? Serious problem with nutrition. Our children develop cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and other serious conditions at younger and younger ages because of poor nutrition. Because of that, NSA has initiated the Children's Research Foundation and is approaching 25,000 children now enrolled getting Juice Plus free, and the results are outstanding. 79% are reporting more awareness of their health, and 90% are reporting benefit from that. They're eating better, they're drinking less soft drinks, they're consuming less fast food, and they're eating more fruits and vegetables. And they're healthier, they go to the doctor less, they miss less school, they're taking less medication. They're performing better in the classroom, and they're performing better on the athletic field, and they have a better childhood self-image. You see, Juice Plus is making a difference in the real-world situation of the homes of families all around the world. Juice Plus is bioavailable nutrition from whole food sources that significantly impacts those aspects of human metabolism associated with disease. And our research has established that firmly, but we haven't stopped with that. Researchers on both sides of the United States, from Georgetown and UCLA, are looking at more sophisticated measures of oxidative stress and bioavailability. We know that eclampsia of pregnancy is caused by oxidative stress in the placenta, and aspirin and calcium don't prevent that from happening. So researchers on 2 sides of the world, Mississippi and Australia, are looking at Juice Plus to confirm that it will lead to safer pregnancies and healthier babies. Coronary heart disease. You can prevent heart disease with diets rich in fruits and vegetables. But Mark Houston at Vanderbilt University is going one step further and looking at highly sophisticated imaging and biomarkers on the progression of established coronary heart disease. Cancer, again, prevented by diets rich in fruits and vegetables. Jennifer Hu at Wake Forest University has gone one step further, looking at progression and biomarkers of disease in people with head and neck cancer. And Dr. Lovell Jones at the MD Anderson Cancer Center is going to look at the impact of Juice Plus nutrition on the course and quality of life in women with advanced ovarian cancer. You see, the foundation of health and disease prevention is nutrition. And the foundation of nutrition is a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. That's why countries all over the world have 5 or more a day campaigns to get their citizens to decrease the economic burden and the burden of human misery of disease by preventing disease by consuming 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. But for those people who cannot or will not, there is an answer. bioavailable nutrition from whole food sources, the most researched nutraceutical in the history of the world, Juice Plus.
This material may not be copied in whole or in part without the written permission of the copyright owner. Copyright 2002 NSA Incorporated.